Hi, I'm Jill White. I'm Professor of Nursing at the University of Sydney, and I want to take this opportunity to just do a very brief video to go with part 4 of the IND kit. I want to try and explain to you some of the PowerPoints, some of the diagrams that you will see in the kit. You'll notice in part 4 of the IND kit for 2018 that there's a section on policy. The reason that we've put this in is that it's come to our attention that one of the really strategically important pieces that nurses internationally are missing is an understanding of the complexity of policy. What we tend to say is that because we're the bridge between health policy, patients' experience, we've got a lot that we can contribute to policy, and therefore policymakers should listen to us. The difficulty with this is that we don't take notice of the complexity of what policy making actually is. And so part 4 is trying to give you an idea of how you can simplify and understand that complexity. And we start by trying to introduce the policy triangle by Walton Gilson. What we as nurses know is a lot about content. And we think because that's what we know, that's what people should listen to. What we don't take into account are the other aspects of that triangle. So we know the content area, we miss the context, we miss the process, and probably most importantly, we miss understanding the actors. So the content in itself, even though we understand how vitally important what we know is, we're missing that very complex context. That in the context, where is it in the political cycle? Why should politicians or policymakers be interested in what we've got to say? What else is going on in their life? Where are they up to in a budget cycle? All of these things are really important. So too is understanding the process, the policy process. It's not unlike the nursing process. It's got a beginning, a middle, an end, except it's messy, as is the nursing process. But probably the most important thing is to understand that when policy gets to the point of consultation, it's fixed. There's no point in really being at the table at that stage except to tweak some outcomes. Where policy really gets set is at the time when people are trying to look at framing the problem and then generating what the solutions might be. The actors are the other really important components. Who else is interested in this? Who would be negatively or positively affected by any change that we might want to make? So doing a stakeholder analysis is a really critical component of trying to understand policy. The next component that I wanted to introduce you to is really an extension of the work done by Walton Gilson. And it's something that Jeremy Schiffman, an American academic, picked up on. And he was studying the results of different disease networks that were set up around different diseases. And he and his colleagues came up with a model that you'll see in diagram form, where he believed that there were 3 really critical components to network effectiveness. There was the actor features, the features not dissimilar to the ones you were looking at a little while ago inside that triangle. Who's the leadership? What's the governance? Who's part of the group? Most importantly, what are the framing strategies? That means how are they describing the issue? And is it in a language that's going to be appropriate to the audience, whether the audience government or finance or whomever. The other bubble, and a really critical one that we just don't get right, is the policy environment. And you'll see again a bit of familiarity from the Walton Gilson stuff. So allies and opponents. Who'd be for us? Who'd be with us? Who'd be against us? Is there funding? And are there shared values amongst the groups that might get together? And the third bubble is about the issue itself. What's its severity? And is it something you can move? That's what the tractability bit is. Is it something you can do something about? Is it something that politicians can do something about without getting into trouble with their constituencies? So those sort of considerations are really critical. And who are the groups that are affected? And I give you a couple of examples in part 4. These things don't sit separately; they interact absolutely. But it gives you an idea of the complexity, but it also gives you an idea of how you move things forward. The last part of part 4 really is about, so how do you use this? How do you get from understanding an issue to actually taking some action? And really all it is using Schiffman's framework in reverse. It's, okay, what are the issue characteristics? What do we know about it and what's the evidence? And again, this is one of the places that nurses fall down. We absolutely cannot go into these conversations with other disciplines and particularly with policymakers until we are absolutely certain that we have the evidence and that we understand the evidence in a way and in a language that we can communicate well with others. What's the policy environment? Have we got our timing right? Who are the stakeholders? Have we done the stakeholder analysis? Who are the best spokespersons? And sometimes, in fact very often, it's not the nurse. It's often other people who have a better opportunity to put our message forward. The outcome's what matters. The outcome for the health of patients is what matters, not that we get the glory. What's happening internally? And again, this is one of the areas that we don't do so well. With whom are we forming coalitions? We talk so much between ourselves and within our discipline, but who outside our discipline should we be making coalitions with? And what's the agreed message? And what's the agreed message in a language that is of interest to economists, to policymakers, to business people, to heads of health departments, whatever? And the last bit is really an essential bit, and there's some references in part 4 to how you can take this forward into some of Jeremy Schiffman's most recent work, and that is on the framing. That it's all very well to frame something in a way that we understand, to frame a message in a way that makes sense to nurses. But how do you frame the issue in a way that makes sense to the people who've got the real influence and the real decision-making power? What do we hope for? Who should take it forward? And what are the reporting outcomes? What are the outcomes? What are the evaluations? So I hope in going through part 4 that you have a better sense of the pretty enormous work that nurses have to do internally before we can actually hope to have influence externally. And that when we do it in a way for which we are very, very well prepared. Thanks. I hope you enjoy part 4.